Okay, guys, I'll try this again. Um, Let me just explain part one. If you were confused, maybe this will help. Okay, so you're going to create two minions, right? Minions are those little yellow creatures you guys probably have seen. Movies Despicable Me or Minions. If not, I gave you a little video clip here. You can see what they look like. They're the goofy little yellow guys, okay? Um, So I just made up some traits they have here, and we're going to use this table to figure out what kind of minions you have. Okay, so the genotype would be what are the genes that they have, right? So everyone has two copies of a gene. We get one from mom, one from dad. And genes can be dominant. We'll show that with a capital letter. Genes can be recessive. That'll be a lowercase letter. Usually the dominant gene will take over. So you'll only need one copy. So that's why we'd say the dominant trait is more common. In order to get a recessive trait, you'd need two recessive genes, where usually only one dominant gene is needed to show itself. Not all genes work this way. For instance, hairstyle, you could see that there's actually three different variations. So the heterozygous, if you have a big and a small, would be different than either two dominants or two recessives. Okay, most of the time, height, number of eyes, body color, it's a simple dominant. So if it's got the capital letter, that's why this capital T would mask the small t, and they'd still be short. In order to be tall, they need two of the recessive alleles, okay? So that's what you're doing in this project. You're going to be creating two parent minions, all right? Now this is what I filled out yesterday. I'll just explain it again. So first thing you're going to do is come up with a trait that's not on the table. You can just make up a trait. I don't care. You know, they could have a tail. I came up with a nose style, even though they don't have noses. The trait can be anything you could think of. Okay. So I did a nose style here, and then I wrote that on my paper down below. So this should be on your paper somewhere. Tell me the trait you added. Give me the two variations. So the dominant would be a long nose, right? And the pointy nose is two recessives. So that's how I figured that out. And then you're just going to flip traits for both of your parents. So what I did is I got a coin. If you don't have a coin, you can use some sort of coin flipping app or whatever. Okay, but every time you've got to roll twice for each trait, because there's two genes or two alleles for each, right? So every time you roll a heads, that'll be the dominant, and every time you roll tails, it's the recessive. So you could see for height, I rolled two heads. That's why there's two capital T's. Number of eyes, there's a small e, so that's I rolled a tails, and then I rolled a heads. Hairstyle, I rolled heads, then tails. Body color, I rolled heads, then tails. Body shape, I rolled heads and heads, so there's two capitals there. Eye color, I rolled heads and tails. And for nose style, I rolled tails and tails. That's why they're both small. So that helps you figure out the genotypes. You're not just inventing this from the top of your head. You're going to use a coin to help dictate. And you'll do the same for Minion 2. You'll do the same for the second Minion because, well, there's going to be two parents, right? I just gave you a couple examples of what a round or skinny body looks like and the different hairstyles if you need help with that. But once you have your traits, you can start to draw your minions. So I know I posted this, but for part one, you should show me the list of traits right here. You should show me their phenotypes, which is how do they look, and then the genotypes is what are the actual genes that you flip for. That's what you flip for above. All right, you can see these two guys look pretty different. So I did a little picture of each. Okay, forgot to give this one clothes. I think that's okay, not a big deal. You can see that they look pretty different. They've got different hairstyle, different eye color, and different number. They have different noses. Maybe you could give a trait about arms or legs, which I didn't get into. So basically, for part 1, you need to show me the trait that you invented. It should be somewhere on a paper. You should have a picture of the two minions that will be the parents, okay? And then their list of traits somewhere around there. So that's what you need for part 1. Now part 2, which we did today, you combine them to make an offspring. So that's the eventual goal here. I did go over this as well, so let me know if this is better, guys. I hope it works. So I don't have to do this video a third time. So yeah, let me know, guys. Thanks.